Hello, and welcome to Comic Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy. Hello.
And it's midnight. It's later than you think. We really could do a different kind of show, but no, that's not what this is. This is our midnight little replay of a little bit of the live show that goes out at 9 o'clock. This bit isn't the show that went out, so this is late night. Look at this. This is late. Who knows how many buttons are undone down there?
Bull. But it's when you take them unbuttoned from below, coming up this way.
Have you serious point? Have you had to do that during Skype calls and recording and online gigs? Because at my fattest during lockdown, self comfort eating, undoing up until about there, so the belly can be out down here. You still can't see it, but and then because it used to be kind of down there for dancing, up there for whatever, business, whatever. But now it just is just top of the ribs. As long as you look all right from the ribs up, belly out.
There's a chance I will be on television on Sunday talking about U.S. election stuff, and I don't know what I'm going to wear because I haven't lost that weight. I can't just wear my PJ bottoms.
Jabba the Hutt costume?
Something.
Cosplay?
I think we had a very good show, which we're going to replay here in a second. A couple things you didn't notice during the show, Steve.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be outdone by you because you were bragging about your new silently clicking mouse.
You got two.
Silent.
Why do you need two silently? Is it mice or mouses? I don't know.
I don't want to click the wrong one. Here we go. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
No, you didn't hear that. No, you didn't.
Do it again.
Did you hear that? Well, when I do it, I'm right next to the mic now.
I mean, all right. Silent mouse. Yeah. How about that?
I heard it.
You couldn't have done because I didn't press it because I was childishly trying to win.
I need two mice because I got two computers going. I got the streaming computer and I got the chat computer, and so I got both going.
This is flipping high tech. You're in for an absolute treat.
And
imagine that.
Because it's presidential debate night, I got cufflinks on, and these are cufflinks made illegally out of U.S. American dimes.
Treason.
Face American currency.
Treason.
Yep.
Yeah. You do that to a pound coin, you're in the tower, mate.
Sleeping in these tonight because it's debate night. We'll talk about that during the show.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah. So let's get in and do the replay. We'll chat more at the end, but enjoy some of the bits in this. Hello and welcome to Comic Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy. Hello and welcome to episode 14 of series 2 of Comic Solving Problems. We're very excited to have you here. This is the show where myself and Mr. Steve, we solve pretty much all of the world's problems, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, the hit rate, if you don't measure it, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we've done about 50 of these, and the world's going great. So we're going to tear through some of the problems that we've seen in the world. Throughout the show, we are keeping an eye on various chats. So if you want to send us problems to solve, we're happy to try and tackle those as well. And also, this is a good thing to say at the beginning, Steve, is that if you're watching it on a social media platform of some sort, you can share it on Facebook so you can expand people that might see it. You can, I think, share on YouTube. You can ring a bell. You can retweet if you're on Twitter. You can just go outside your house and scream out loud that you're watching Comic Solving Problems. You might create your own problem if you do that, depending on where you live. But
just say you're doing it for the NHS.
Yeah, exactly. This is for the NHS. That's why we're here. And because nobody claps for them anymore. I mean, nobody claps for us anymore because we're essentially still pretty much unemployed. And that's why we do this. But yeah, we're here. The YouTube link will go up every now and then throughout the show. I know we've got some people that purchase tickets in advance for that. Thank you. And if you do want to chuck us a drink at some point, please do, because this is our only hope.
Yeah, I was saying on Twitter earlier today, this is now my main source of income. And given that things are going that badly, I'm still paying more tax than Donald Trump. And probably more on that later.
Yeah, that's easy to do. Right, but I think to kick us off then properly with the first problem of the night, that is you, Steve.
Yeah, the problem of the new rules / laws. Things are getting even tougher with the world of coronavirus lockdown. Don't get me wrong, look, I like rules. I'm an INTJ personality type in the Myers-Briggs thing, which that means, we've talked about this on the show before, I'm the kind of person who enjoys rules so much that I drive around car parks in the direction of the arrows because it makes sense.
So, don't you just get to feel a little naughty when you go the wrong way?
Systems require rules to work, Eric. I don't know why you get any joy from breaking those rules. I like rules. It's within my personality type to do that, so I'm, what's the word? Better than other people. And this means I love a rule. I'm loving rules. If I'm criticizing rules, the rules might be a problem. Everyone should enjoy rules. I can give you an example of a good rule, your home nation of America that came in recently. Good. So this is a good one.
Today, the MTA will vote on a new rule that really should have been an old one. It will ban defecating on the city's subways and buses and inside transit facilities.
Wow.
What?
Didn't realize.
Where are you supposed to defecate now?
Oh, wow.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
Nanny State gone mad.
Maverick dumper over there. I would have presumed those rules are in everywhere, and because they've only just recently brought it in, I actually thought to myself, do we have the same rule over here? And by that, you've got to translate the language. I would mean the London Underground, not subway, because can you take a dump in a subway is a different question if you come to the UK. That would lead to situations like this. Ooh. There you go. That's a foot long. It's classy humour tonight. It's classy humour.
They look so happy behind you.
Yeah, they're not put off by it. They're used to it because it's a place where you are allowed to defecate. I'm not sure if we do have the rule on the London Underground, because I actually remember when I first moved to London, young, naive Steve moved to London. I was on a tube after doing a gig, and there was me in one end of the carriage and a woman in the far end, and she just hitched herself just slightly off the seat and just wazzed all on the floor. And I was like, wow, this is welcome to London, Steve. And I thought, well, other end of the carriage doesn't bother me. And then the tube moved away from the station and all of the momentum just meant it zoomed down the carriage, like, lift your legs. So I don't know if it's illegal, but people definitely do it. So that's a good example of a good rule. But there are some rules to do with coronavirus that are so confusing. It's messy. It's convoluted. It even manages to befuddle our Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who's had to apologise for misspeaking about the new rules, which I am surprised by because he seems so together and with it. He seems like he's got his head screwed on, well, certainly recently, if not tightly. So he was talking about some of the rules to do with the Northeast, and he said that groups of 6 could meet in a house or in hospitality, but not 6 outdoors, which no one really knew if that meant don't meet outdoors or more than 6. The rule is, actually I've looked into it, and because we're talking about the Northeast, you can meet outside, but you're not allowed to wear a jacket or a coat.
That's true.
And as much as that's a little joke, maybe if people in the Northeast wore a coat when they went out when it was cold, maybe you won't be catching as much stuff. So actually do some research on it, Witty and Valance. There might be something in there. So the rules are all confusing because yesterday we heard that household mixing in any setting would be illegal in the Northeast, which made me think I'd picked exactly the wrong time to try and make a living by selling Tupperware. And then today it's been clarified it's not illegal for people from 2 households in the Northeast to meet outdoors. So is it illegal indoors, and how many can meet outdoors? It's still an absolute mess. So that's one example of new rules that make absolutely no sense. What else have we got in terms of the students? They're still being forced to stay wherever they are, but it's not legally enforceable yet for them. This is the front page of the Metro today. Some students have no food, no toilet roll, and no lectures. And we had them when I was at university, but we called those people doing an arts degree.
Oh, hey,
this guy.
Careful.
Yeah. What was it you did again at university?
Theatre arts.
Okay, so nothing. Good. Did you have any lectures?
I mean, we did some colouring in.
Okay, good times.
Yeah.
I'm still angry about the event. But I thought what we'd do is let's go through some of the rules, because this show is here to help people. So let's clarify some of the new rules and laws that the government have brought in. Recklessly leaving isolation can now give you a £4,000 fine.
All right.
Recklessly. It feels like that needs a definition.
Yeah.
Is that?
Does that mean not checking if you have your keys with you when you leave the house.
That would be one of
if
them.
you don't
yeah.
do the
Check, yeah. Make sure you got your mask.
Yeah.
Are you reckless if you leave the house and you're mainly paying more attention to your phone than where you're walking? Because I'd give them a £4,000 fine, and that is reckless.
Yeah.
Running with your eyes closed. That would definitely be a reason why you should get a fine, I guess. What a bizarre rule, though. Who defines reckless? Rule 2. Maliciously forcing someone into isolation will see you hit with a £1,000 fine. I'm a little bit worried about this.
Okay.
Because in like episode 7 or something, when we started to hear how it works, that if you get contacted by track and trace, anyone that you've been in contact with will be told to self-isolate. And I did this sketch.
Hello, Mr. Allen.
Yep, speaking.
I'm calling from the Track and Trace Centre. I'm sorry, I have to tell you, you've tested positive for COVID-19.
Do you know, I did feel a bit peaky.
Well, now I need to know who you've been in contact with so that I can contact them and tell them to self-isolate for 14 days.
Oh.
Don't worry, we won't be telling them that it's because of you.
So whoever I list now will have to stay at home for 14 days and they won't know it's because of me.
Yeah.
Dominic Cummings. The problem is, if anyone did that because of that sketch, I think we might get fined. And trust us, we have not earned enough money from this show to pay for those fines.
That's not malicious, though. That's justice.
Yeah, that's true. I'll take that as a defence. Nice work.
Yeah.
On to the next rule. You have to tell your work if you're self-isolating, or you get a £50 fine. It's the smallest of the fines by the look of it.
Okay.
Who wouldn't? Have you met people? The speed with which people will call in for a sickie is amazing. If other ailments that aren't COVID elicit people calling in for sickies, including a hangover and some football on today. So if people are willing to call in for that, they're going to call in about the COVIDs. Hospitality has been forced to stop people singing and dancing. This is an interesting one. We work in hospitality effectively, singing and dancing. It's very easy to take this down the path of saying it's like the film Footloose, if they're banning dancing. I'm not too upset about it, because I'm kind of bulletproof when it comes to this.
Right, stop what you're doing. We are the COVID marshals. We are here to stop people dancing. Whatever that was, it's not dancing. You carry on, mate.
Method dancing. There you
Nice.
go. They can't touch me for it.
Is that with digital effects?
Yeah, that's all snake hips. That's all I limbered up first. That's what that was. And the final rule I wanted to mention, just so we're all up to date, is this. I mean, this is the most pointless one. Some hospitality businesses are banned from playing music louder than 85 decibels. Why?
Okay.
Is that so you don't hear the virus sneak up on you? Does the volume activate it? I'm going to get in there and infect someone. The hell?
How loud approximately is a decibel?
Do you know, I was going to look it up, because there's normally things like, I think, is it 100 or something? Is like a pneumatic drill nearby, which some of the music these days sounds like that.
It's terrible.
And aeroplanes going off and stuff like that. But I don't understand what. Yeah, because it's the volume that really spreads the virus around.
Well, because the speakers are using sound to vibrate, and the vibrations push the virus. It's science, Steve. I thought you'd understand that.
It's because of all the 5G and the Bill Gates. It's all because of the Bill Gates.
It's the Bill Gates.
I understand what's going on there.
Good. Well, I feel like I really know what's going on now.
Thank you. Well, we gave it a go, didn't we? I mean, what an absolute mess. Some of the messages coming through then. Mark says, Steve, for Strictly 2021.
Nice.
Did you see those hips move?
Yeah. I mean, if you get back on MASH Report, there's no reason why they shouldn't put you on Strictly.
It's all under the desk on the MASH Report. That's why you don't see what the hips are doing.
No. Yeah. You're peddling, though. You're peddling. What else have we got here? Theater arts. There's nothing wrong with theater arts. That is not the same as media studies. It's a real art. Media studies, Chris.
Theatre arts. Hang on. So if you've studied theatre arts, does that mean you've done acting? So you should be doing all the method. I did method dancing tonight.
Yeah. I could do well if we get to the Shakespeare level. I can do that.
Okay.
But we haven't quite gotten there yet. We're building toward that. Now it's more like an Ibsen play.
Right. Oh, look at that.
I used to know what that meant. I can't remember anymore.
85 decibel, says Mark, is the same as a passing lorry.
Oh. Well, if you got one of those in your gig, definitely a problem.
It's a bit of drum and bass.
What's the rule of the slide rule? Rule of the slide rule. That's what Paul's asking.
I don't know. Is that something to do with adding logarithms together?
Maybe.
Messages in the little thing if you want. Let's have a look. We've got some ones we missed earlier on. Fight the Power, says Exquisite Tenderness. I think we are doing. I think this is the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't fight the power going around a car park. I stick to the arrows because that way everything works. But other than that, I was thinking foot long before you said it. I bet you were, Mark. You that old man. Right.
Only in America. Exquisite Tenderness is said here. Yeah.
Well, that's because you've only just banned taking a dump on the subway. It makes no sense to me. How many times? Because people only bring in laws if those laws are required. How many times people have walked in, seen a dump, and like, is this legal?
Have you been on the subway in America, in New York?
By been, do you mean travelled or taken an enjoyable poo?
Either way.
No, I've never been either. Look, nor have I actually ever pooed on the London Underground. However, it is the only time that I would touch the handrail, because they always say always hold the handrail, only if I'm squatting.
I've been tempted to try and pee on the electric one just to see if there's arc. Would it come through?
Look, I only know my science from Ren and Stimpy, but don't whiz on the electric fence.
What have you been drinking like? Because does iron conduct electricity?
Does iron? Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were drinking Iron Brew and you were on the Glasgow Metro,
yeah,
then you whizzed on the thing.
It would make your Todger look like the kind of cigar that explodes in a cartoon.
It'd be an electrifying experience. Let's just put it that way. Right. We caught up on various comments.
We'll do more messages, but keep them coming.
We'll do more messages. Keep them coming through. Don't forget to subscribe. Do all those fun things. Right, Steve. This is actually a personal problem I'm going to bring to the show. We try and cover the world's news, but this is one that affects actually both you and I directly. What do you do when you cover a news story and then the New York Times comes along and steals your thunder?
Oh, man. All the time.
Yeah, all the time. Look, this was the headline on Sunday for the New York Times. Long concealed records show Trump's chronic losses and years of tax avoidance. And they got that big story by getting a hold of Trump's tax returns for the last 20-odd years. But you know what, Steve? If you remember, if you think back, we covered this back in June. We had a copy of Trump's tax returns, and we broke the story right here. Here's the evidence. This is an exclusive to Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems. Yeah. I have obtained a copy of the tax returns ahead of the court case. And I was able to get it because I just sent Trump a tweet, because he and I are Twitter buds. And I just said, look, it's only going to be broadcast in the UK. It's only going to be broadcast in Great Britain. And he said, that's fine, because Britain, you're not that great anymore. So he was more than happy to release the returns to you. Now, looking at these, I'm just going to highlight a few things. It's interesting looking at a billionaire's tax return, right? Because most of the figures on here are only in the millions. Which is strange. But actually, well, I say that on the official return, like where it's typed in, it's in $1 million levels. But then there's some zeros added with what looks like a crayon. It was a tiny crayon that was held by tiny little fingers. So don't know who did that. Now, we've known for a long time that in 1995, Trump lost $1 billion, right? He had one of the biggest tax write-offs of any American. But we've never known exactly what that loss was. And now we can see it, Steve. We can see that there was a $65 million loss for talking nicely to ugly people.
Wow.
You can write that off. There's also a $50 million tax credit for having children, which is why he has to keep getting married and having more children. More kids mean more tax breaks.
Understandable, yeah.
That's what these things are there for. He didn't take a deduction for health insurance costs. He just wrote in here, also in the same crayon, it just says, fitter than Jesus. So, okay.
Good, yeah.
Whatever. There's a $98 million loss for hamster hair. Don't know what that's for. And lastly, there is a $5 donation to a charity. And then, wait, hold on. There's something next to it. It just says, it's in the crayon again. It says, don't do that again. Look at that.
You broke it
Satire,
first.
Steve. Satire. That's what that was.
Those are the days. We somehow looked older back then.
I know. This was pre my military haircut and then the beard. I've got more beard now. Anyway, those are the days. June. We've aged so much.
Backwards. Yeah.
So the big takeaway from the Times story when they stole it, I mean, they didn't even credit us, which is just shocking. That's why Donald Trump calls them fake news all the time. This was the big takeaway from the Times story. We've got it here. That Trump paid just $750 in federal income tax in, I think, 16 and 17, 2016. Just that's all he paid. You know, this big billionaire Donald Trump in federal taxes, $750. That's about 600 quid, maybe 550 pounds. I've got 2 kids and a dog, Steve. I sneeze and $750 comes out. That's all he paid towards the running of the federal government. Now, Trump, of course, has responded to these allegations with 2 things. One, he said that the whole thing is utterly fake news. It's not real. Okay? That is what he's established as a fact. He has also said that he's really smart for not paying any tax. So, it's real, but fake. Okay?
Right.
It's kind of like he did have sex with Stormy Daniels, but she faked her orgasms.
I mean, that seems like spot on logic. I can't fault you for it.
Yeah. So,
Isn't it bizarre that he paid more to prostitutes than he did in tax?
I mean, to be fair, if you got the option of an or in that sentence, which would you choose?
The HMRC, I
She's
feel.
not. By the way, she's not a prostitute. Stormy Daniels is a performance artist who studied theater.
Study theatre. Okay.
She's an
Okay.
actress.
Okay.
I don't know if she studied theater. She's a natural. I mean, not all of her's natural. Some of her is augmented, but that doesn't matter.
He paid more to Stormy Daniels though than he did to America in tax. And wasn't there some detail about how much money he spent on hair care during the film?
$70,000
$70,000
when he was filming The Apprentice. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, in our report we said it was $1 million, so we exaggerated it a little. But
Yeah, but I mean, it's bloody close, really. I mean, if you look at his hair and you think that's a lot of money, right, to be spending on hair when the product looks like that at the end. And I read that and thought to myself, geez, I hope he kept the receipt. Of course he did. He's writing everything off as a flipping expense.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
oh.
Imagine what it would look like though if he hadn't spent the $70,000.
That's true. Yeah,
I'm happy he spent the money.
yeah, fair play.
Stealing our stories. Stupid New York Times.
Mark says, talking nicely to ugly people, did he visit Philadelphia based on a CNN report? Honest. Maybe. And there was another one as well. Was it Mark or so? Yeah, Mark said, going back to the trains. We'll just pop this up so you can message us if you wish to.
Oh, yeah.
Going back to the trains. In 2018, Mark's done some research for us. It says London Underground had to delay 801 trains due to soiling incidents. This is from the Huffington Post. He said apparently if you hear code 2 on the tannoy, you know what it is.
There we go. That's what I like about our viewers is they're Googling things to back up what we're talking about. We're talking complete shit, and they're looking up stories about shit.
Just pinched off a code 2. That now might be my go-to euphemism whenever I'm like, just going to go nip into a code 2.
Yeah, there you go. You can hear my dog in the background. He agrees with
Is he
you.
triggered by the phrase code 2? Is he a trained dog ready to work on the underground?
Let's see here. And thank you to Chris, who's bought us a coffee. Thank you very much, Chris. We appreciate that, and your support is appreciated. If at any point anybody out there is thinking, oh, I buy these guys a drink because I like what they're doing, or I buy them a drink just so they shut up, or if you're thinking $750 isn't much to pay in tax, we'll take $750 because we're probably not going to have to pay tax this year.
That's true. Yeah.
It's making so little money. Right. Is there any other comments to catch up on?
Is Trump a code 2? No, Trump is the thing that precedes a code 2 in my personal experience.
For any non-British viewers, Trump means fart in the United Kingdom, which precluded Trump being president. So that's not something they've just come up with.
Yeah,
so
good times. Good times. Right, well, yeah, keep the messages coming through, and we'll return to those as well soon. Don't forget, chuck that donation in the pot. You'll find the link near the stream. It would be very much appreciated. Thank you very much. I think it's time.
Well, thank you for watching the midnight recap of our 9 o'clock show, or whatever time it is, wherever you are. I think we've cracked it.
Yeah.
Anything left uncracked in that, Steve?
No, I say just plug the fact that 2 o'clock tonight, British Standard Time, summertime. You're going to be doing your live. I'm going to be asleep by 2 o'clock in the morning.
I was going to call you. I'm going to call you, Steve.
Okay. Enjoy my voicemail then.
It's enough time for me to get to your house, actually.
Oh, yeah. God. I did think of it about staying up and watching it, but
Yeah.
I can't be bothered.
Piss poor American. It's going to be exciting. So yes, I'll be up. I might take a little nap, and then I'm going to be back at it. And then
If you've enjoyed it, there's a link down there where you can throw some money in our direction. Let's get all the graphics up. Let's get all the graphics.
Oh, get the graphics.
Follow us on social medias. Chuck some money in the pot if you've enjoyed it. There's a podcast version of this as well if you just want to listen and not see these faces. Why would you not want those faces?
I don't know.
What's wrong with you? And other than that, back at 9 o'clock.
See you then. Thursday.